2024 board meeting to order. I'll begin by asking each commissioner to please respond with a "here" when I call out their name. Commissioner Doan is excused this evening. So we have Commissioner Duggan.
I am here.
Indeed you are. Commissioner Fisher. Here. Commissioner Lysick.
Here.
All right. I'd like to begin this evening by asking for members of the board to motion to allow me to adopt a proclamation that would honor our council chief, Clark Balfour. All those, well.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. The motion passes, and at this time, I'd like to read a proclamation. All right. Whereas Clark Balfour, General Counsel, has served the Tualatin Valley Water District as a Tualatin Valley Water District employee since June 30th of 2016, and whereas prior to the date of employment, Clark had dutifully served as the district's General Counsel through Cable Houston LLP since 1991, and whereas Clark had used his experience and dedication to serve as Chief Legal Counsel for the district, directing and performing a wide range of legal services of a complex nature, representing the district in litigation and on matters of significant visibility and public impact. And whereas Clark has provided primary legal support and policy advice to the Chief Executive Officer, Board of Commissioners, and other district staff on legal issues. And whereas Clark has been a proactive public servant, always looking out for the best interest of the district's customers. And whereas Clark's service and involvement has and does extend to many other organizations, including the Willamette Intake Facility Commission, the Willamette Water Supply Commission, and the Willamette River Water Coalition, and more. And whereas the Tualatin Valley Water District Board and staff wish to extend to Clark our thanks and gratitude for his many years of service to our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of the Tualatin Valley Water District wish to hereby honor Clark Balfour, General Counsel, for his dedication and commitment to excellence in public service. Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. I'm glad that we had the opportunity to do that. All right. We will move on to reports by the Chief Executive Officer and management staff. Paul, please.
President Sanders, Commissioners, this will be a relatively brief report tonight as opposed to last week's Thursday memo. I want to make you aware that our Talking Water series is continuing. We're going to talk about tips for irrigation. So on May 8th, we will have our next Talking Water, and that will be an opportunity for our customers to receive specific tips for turning on their irrigation system and setting their irrigation controller. So this has both a timely, because we're entering that spring season, and it helps with our conservation efforts. We'll also emphasize the importance of backflow prevention and the requirements for the annual backflow test. The district's website has a link to our Talking Water events, so you don't need to do anything to get invited. Just go to the website and the link is available there. I want to give you a quick update on Senate Bill 1530. At the time that we put these slides together, there was some question as to whether or not the governor would issue a line item veto on this matter. I learned earlier this morning that she in fact was not going to veto those, and I understand that there has been now a public announcement in the Oregonian to that effect. So I'll power through this real quickly, but I do want to thank the team that helped us put together and respond to the governor's request. You might recall that she had issued a notice to the legislatures required by the Oregon Constitution, a notice of an intent to veto. She identified 7 projects, about $14 million worth of infrastructure investment in the water biz that was on her list. But she did provide us an opportunity to meet with her staff and provide input on to show how our 189th Avenue pump station would help housing. So we put together what you see there on the right-hand side, an informational item that we offered to our staff, and they were going to use that for briefing the governor as we went through. We also got a couple letters. So we're very happy that the city of Beaverton, the mayor of Beaverton, was helpful in supporting this expenditure. This is important because, you know, we have a cooperative arrangement with Beaverton on Cooper Mountain. This is a story where the two agencies working together are able to improve the service and reliability of our water system by interconnecting the two. And we have plans to do that yet again, a little bit higher up on Cooper Mountain. So having the support of the city of Beaverton was actually very helpful. In addition to that, we had support from the Special District Association of Oregon, as you might imagine. So a good outcome. I want to thank everybody who helped us. Commissioner Fisher and Commissioner Sanders are incredibly helpful as well. Commissioner Fisher, you probably know more about what happened in the back of this deal than the rest of us. I don't know if you want to explain anything. Maybe this would be an opportunity for you to share something at this point. I'll put you on the spot here.
I think we should just be thankful it was averted.
Yeah, the $3 million will help our customers. So it's very welcome. If nothing else on that, quick update, just as I mentioned, the cooperative arrangement that we have with the city of Beaverton, we have actually the Kimmer Road intertie in service. So that's a new 24-inch pipe. That's an emergency intertie between the two systems, between TVWD and the city of Beaverton, top of Cooper Mountain. Both have reservoirs that are within feet of each other in terms of elevation, a little bit further in terms of horizontal distance that are now interconnected. The intertie can deliver water from either system, either to back up TVWD or to back up Beaverton. That's part of the IGA that we entered into with the city of Beaverton on that matter. As the city proceeds with construction of the new pump station to serve new development on the top of Cooper Mountain, we anticipate also constructing an intertie at that higher elevation. I guess at like 900 feet, maybe 920. 920, thank you, Pete. Just to give you a sense of what it looks like here, this is an overview map showing that our reservoir on the left-hand side, the upper left-hand side, that's our TVWD Cooper Mountain Reservoir, and the pipe is essentially follows that path of the blue arrow, and it connects to the city of Beaverton's reservoir complexes that you see in the lower right-hand side. So that work is done, and as we said, it's a great improvement to the reliability of our system. Any questions about that? Because we can put Pete on the spot. If they're hard questions, he can address them. Easy ones I'll take. Okay. The last item is plan to be out of town here this coming tomorrow and the next day. Justin Dyke will be AIC for the CEO during that period of time. Then I also am scheduled to attend the Pacific Northwest section of AWWA conference, and I'll be gone May 1st through the 3rd. And Andrew Carlstrom, our customer service director, will be at the helm while I'm in Spokane. So with that, I'll turn it over to Pete, who's going to be delivering tonight's department report.
Clicker from you. That'll well, thank you, Paul. Good evening, President Sanders and commissioners. Thanks for joining us tonight. Tonight I get to talk about a couple new concepts here, and in terms of commissioning and interim use of some Willamette water system assets, as well as a new TVWD facility. So the concept of interim use is one in which, so we've been doing this with pipelines as they become complete. The first example was on the PLW alignment, so that's on the western side of the transmission system. There was a segment of line from Tualatin Valley Highway going south, and that's PLW 1.1. You can see it on the map there. And that connects to the Joint Water Commission's south transmission line. There's an emergency intertie there. So that was a pipeline segment that was completed in the year 2019. And the city of Hillsborough has been able to use that to transmit Joint Water Commission water to go south in this new Willamette pipeline and back into the Hillsborough distribution system. And we're doing that in what we call interim use because that the transmission pipe is not in fully commercial operation. But this is a way to basically start the overall commissioning process early. It helps to condition the cement mortar lining of that pipe, which helps to stabilize it and so that it doesn't impact water chemistry. Fresh cement tends to increase the pH of water and make some other things that are some other changes that are undesirable, which is why we flush lines to waste before we put them in service. So this has been successful. That pipe has provided good water and stable water chemistry for the last 5 years or so. And so what we did here is we actually, as the next pipeline south was completed, we extended that interim use further south, and it's allowing us to bring Joint Water Commission water from the south transmission line all the way down to our new Richard D. Schmidt Willamette Supply facility located at 209th and Farmington. So our team has worked with Dave's team at the PMO, some contractors and our partner agencies, both Hillsborough and Clean Water Services, to flush, chlorinate, and test again this PLW 1.3 pipeline. So when the construction of that was finished about a year and a half ago, it was pressure tested, chlorinated, flushed, all those things happened. It was tested to be ready for potable water. But then it's been sitting dormant since then. And so that process was repeated. It was brought back online, and it's now conveying water down to 209th and Farmington. So a couple photos that kind of show the process. So this is a big deal. These are big pipes. They're large volumes of water, and that one of the first things to deal with was the water that had been sitting in this 48-inch pipe. There's a couple miles of it. Had increased pH. It was not ready to be delivered to any customers. And so the first thing we had to do is flush that off. And in order to discharge that, you can see in the picture on the left, the large green tanks that have the yellow stairs going up those. We call those Baker tanks. They're large metal tanks that can be hauled by trucks. I think each one is about 21,000 gallons. And so those were set up to allow the contractor to treat that water, condition the chemistry, readjust the chemistry so that it could be discharged to the stream. That was our first plan. But we also were in discussions with Clean Water Services because if we're able to discharge some of this water to the sanitary sewer, then we don't have to do all that treatment ourselves. It can go to the treatment plant, and Clean Water Services can do that for us. Initially, they had concerns about the flow rate that we would deliver to the sanitary sewer, and they gave a limit that we could deliver. And at a low flow rate, this would have taken a long time. But our contractor and our team were able to work with Clean Water Services to improve that capacity limitation that they have with some temporary pumps. You know, they said, well, our pumping capacity is only this. We've got to reserve so much for our other sanitary sewer customers. But since we were able to increase that amount of capacity that we could send to the sanitary, we were able to send all of this water to the sanitary. So it really simplified the operation. That was a big win, a good partnership, both from our contractor working with Clean Water Services. And so these are photos of that discharge system setup. This is down at Butternut Creek. If you had a chance to be out there, it's in that South Hillsborough area that's seeing a lot of development activity recently. And that water then flows down to our new Schmidt facility. And this is an aerial photograph of that. So this is located at Southwest 209th Avenue and Southwest Farmington Road. It's in the very southwest portion of our district. This is a new entry point for the district. This is the first new entry point that we've had for water supply into our distribution system in many years. So that's a pretty big deal. And you can see how the construction of that site is completed here in this photo. And here's a photo of the inside. So this facility brings that water in. Since it's a supply entry point, that the water coming in is at a higher pressure than the surrounding distribution system. So that pressure gets brought down to the service pressure. We can control flow here, and we add fluoride since this is part of our Wolf Creek service area that's fluoridated. This facility also operates in close coordination with a nearby facility that was rebuilt in 2019 at our Grabhorn site. So we've got a 5 million gallon reservoir that was rebuilt there. And there's an ASR well, aquifer storage and recovery, that's been in operation since 2008 there. And having this higher pressure supply point allows us to do some different types of operations with our ASR well that were a little more difficult for us in the past when we didn't have this supply point close by. So there was a valve house and some other facilities at Grabhorn Road that have been waiting for this higher pressure since 2019, and we were able to bring those online as part of this whole operation. We've also been coordinating with Commissioner Schmidt's family to have a dedication ceremony at this facility. So that'll be coming later this summer. And we'll be able to unveil this to Commissioner Schmidt's family and then the public as well. So with that, I would be happy to answer any questions.
Pete, so in one of the first slides, you were talking about a line that has been in operation for what, a year, actually 4 years or so?
Yeah, probably almost 5 now in interim use. Yeah.
So how long does it take? You were saying that there's some impact of the mortar on pH. How long does it take for that to sort of stabilize or normalize or get to the level of wherever you're hoping to get to? Just out of curiosity.
It's a great question. So what we've seen, and we've had a few opportunities to study this. So with our pipelines, if the water sits after about a week, that pH is higher than you want to drink. And then it'll go and stabilize, but again, at a higher level. If the water keeps moving, it doesn't have that contact time. Okay. And then it doesn't get up as high, but after a couple of weeks of being conditioned, that impact, if you will, slows way down.
So just a couple of weeks. It's nothing. That's excellent. Wow.
Yeah, Hillsborough hasn't seen any challenges, with that continuous use that they've been using water through this pipe. And neither have we. So we've been taking water through here for a couple of weeks now.
There's really no expectation that water will sit in any of these transmission lines for a couple of weeks. So in the long term, not, after 2026, water won't sit there for a couple of weeks. Thank you. That'll do it.
That'll do it for
Fantastic.
sorry, yes, that concludes the CEO management report.
All right, thank you, Paul. We'll now move on to Commissioner Communications and report on recent meetings attended. We'll begin this evening with Commissioner Duggan. Commissioner Duggan, sir.
Thank you. I attended the Metro Impact meeting on March 27th, where housing and UGDB capacity issues were discussed. On March 29th, I attended the meeting of our board finance committee, where we discussed appointment of budget officer and retention of our auditing consultant. On the 2nd, I attended our board work session where we received Willamette Water Supply System and district updates. On the 4th of April, I attended the Willamette Water Supply System board meeting and executive session, where I'm sure we're going to get more information about that from Mr. Kraska, but we discussed baseline 9.1 and GMP 3, and I believe we got, we were briefed on those the night of the board work session. On April 9th, I attended the Washington County CPO number 1 meeting, where I was pleased to see that we have a new representative employee, Lindsay Wojcik. I hope I pronounced the name correctly, where she did an excellent update for the district, talking about our Terra Linda project and advertising our Talking Water that's coming up in May. On the 10th of April, I attended the Regional Water Providers Consortium Executive Committee, where we discussed the bylaws for the various consortium committees. And then also received an announcement that the current chair of the consortium, the current chair from Oak Lodge Water District is no longer going to be a representative to the Regional Water Providers Consortium. That's Kevin Williams from Oak Lodge. And so we're going to have to re-elect or elect a new board chair and executive committee chair in June. And then tonight's meeting, which I wish I were there in person, but feeling a little under the weather. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Duggan. Commissioner Fisher.
On the evening of March 25th, I attended a dinner with TBWD staff and North Plains staff as a sort of get to know you type of function, which was very pleasant to learn more about North Plains. On the 27th of March, I attended a meetup with the mayor of Tigard, where we heard updates about Tigard and also managed to answer a few questions about some TBWD stuff that local residents were interested about because the meeting was in my neighborhood. On the 2nd of April, I attended the work session. And as a side note, I believe we also attended the day before that, Clark Belfour's retirement party, which was very fun. On the 9th, I attended the TBWD agenda planning meeting where we planned for the board meeting tonight. And that was the same day we met with CFM and other partners about the potential veto that we have averted. So that was nice. On the 11th of April, I attended Commissioner Fai's town hall to share updates with her. And the county, I guess, for unincorporated areas right now is facing a lot of questions about urban agricultural livestock issues. So they're going to be talking about banning roosters in the urban unincorporated areas. And then I attended tonight's meeting.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Fisher. Commissioner Lysick.
So every meeting that I have has been covered with the exception of the JWC meeting and executive session on the 12th, which was just our regular recurring meeting. But the Finance Committee on the 29th, Clark's retirement party on the 1st, our work session on the 2nd, and then this evening's meeting.
Yeah, thank you. As for myself, first, I'd like to defend Bruce the Rooster, my neighbor's rooster, who here every morning at about 3:30 approximately, given the time of year. We don't hold it against Bruce the Rooster, so I hope they don't kick Bruce the Rooster out. Because I do live in unincorporated Washington County, and not only do they have a rooster, they got horses and sheep. And if you know where I live, it's not too far from Cedar Hills. And I asked them, are you riding your horse into Cedar Hills shopping area? But they've been there for so long. I guess the area across the street from me was at one time a horsing community. As it's developed, the couple of the properties still have horses. But Bruce lives across the street and we love Bruce the Rooster. So in his defense, I support him. For myself, I think everybody's talked about the various things, the meetings with the mayor of North Plains, the Barney JWC meeting. There was no Barney part of the JWC.
I only said
You just said
JWC.
JWC. There was no Barney part this week. And it wasn't really a whole lot of information during the JWC either. I don't think.
Primarily just quarterly updates. And the most meaningful information was the executive session, which
Yeah.
we
We're
won't
going to talk about. That being the case, I've taken on a new hobby. I'm reading IGAs. I think those are kind of fun in themselves. The Beaverton one was very informative. And again, I wanted to say thank you for having that presentation at the work session for that IGA. And then thank you for printing me a copy of the JWC IGA, which is taking a lot longer to read, by the way. But I'm enjoying it. I'm learning. Maybe I don't want that to be my hobby in the long term, but it's very informative. Other than that, I think everybody's covered all the meetings. And also I wanted to say thank you to whoever recorded the Water Supply Committee meeting. I missed it because my family was in a bit of turmoil, and you guys held it here with Commissioner Doan, and then you filmed it, and I was on my office email, and I saw the link for it, and I was like, I can catch up now. So I watched that as well, and I thought that was really cool that I was able to, not necessarily participate, but listen in and figure out what the discussion was about. So I just wanted to say thank you for recording that so I could catch up. All right, that being said then, that'll close that. Topics to be raised by commissioners? No, okay, I'll take a second. I want to congratulate you, Paul. I want to congratulate your leadership team. $3 million is nothing to laugh at. Bravo. This was a difficult road to haul. They definitely made you work very hard, and I want to congratulate all of you on, taking the time, keeping the effort up, and using Norm's words, like fighting the good fight here. Not only is it $3 million today, it's also the federal money on top of that, but it's also starting to get TVWD into the mind, and they understand the name of the legislature here, both statewide and federally, and we're building a reputation for the future. So it goes beyond just the $3 million today, although that's a really nice number. It goes beyond the $3 million today. It goes towards where TVWD is heading in the future. And so I just wanted to say thank you to all of you, because I know it was not as easy as everybody hoped it would be. And we're grateful to the governor and the governor's staff, and to CFM. They did a wonderful job, but mostly I think Paul, you and the leadership team deserve a lot of credit for doing an excellent job and bringing that home today. So thank you.
It was truly a team effort though, and
Yeah.
Commissioner Fisher was right there with us.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
We appreciate
It's really good to have him on the board.
and we appreciate all the support that we've gotten from the board and the public and our partners. So this is definitely a win for our customers. It's exciting.
Excellent, thank you. All righty, moving on now to the public comment section this evening. Public comment time is set aside for persons wishing to address the board on items on the consent agenda and matters not on the agenda. Additional public comment will be invited on agenda items as they are presented. And I'll ask Sam, do we have any persons this evening, live or virtually, who would like to comment?
Not seeing anybody live. I do have one virtual attendee. Norm, would you like to submit public testimony this evening?
No, that's fine. Hey, I will, however, congratulate the entire TVWD team. We had a terrific short session. We had success, and then we went into extra innings, and the whole team worked super hard, and we got a great result.
All right, thank you, Norm. All right, next agenda item this evening is our consent agenda. The consent agenda items are considered to be routine and may be enacted in one motion without separate discussion. Any board members may request that an item be removed by motion for discussion and separate action. Any items requested to be removed from the consent agenda for separate discussion will be considered immediately after the board has approved those items which do not require discussion. This evening, as you can see, hopefully on the screen, we're approving the March 20th regular meeting minutes, the April 2nd work session meeting minutes, the TVWD budget officer appointment, selection of independent auditor, and the Metro Policy Advisory Committee nominations. Is that right? Fantastic. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented?
This is Commissioner Lysak, so moved.
Commissioner Fisher, I second.
Thank you. Do I have all those in favor? Please say aye.
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 Good. And any opposed? Not hearing any, the motion passes. And we'll move on to item 3 this evening, our business agenda, which is to consider a resolution adopting the Customer Assistance Program, and a presentation by Andrew Karlstrom, our Customer Service Director. Andrew?
Thank you, President Sanders and Board of Commissioners. So yes, the purpose of this presentation is to go through the resolution that authorizes a new customer assistance program. It's what we talked about at the April work session. But before you consider the resolution, I'm going to go through background and components of the resolution. So first, we are moving from recommendation to implementation. The Rate Advisory Committee in 2023 unanimously recommended that a proposed new customer assistance program. This is an ongoing program, not just one time, but they also recommended that the district maintain the one time a year customer emergency assistance program. This is a priority, as CEO Paul Matthews has previously communicated to the board. And one of the key tasks for implementation is the board authorizing the program. So I'm going to talk about the whereas statements, the resolve statements, and the exhibits. These are the components of the resolution. So first, the whereas statements. There's a review of the Rate Advisory Committee, the RAC, purposes and history. Also, the resolution discusses that the second RAC in 2022 to 2023 unanimously recommended a new customer assistance program, or CAP, with a 20% bill discount, as well as, again, keeping the current one time a year customer emergency assistance program. The board accepted the RAC recommendations in May of 2023, and the adopted, that should be 2023-2025 biennial budget, included funding and expenditures for the new customer assistance program. Appropriations in the adopted are in the adopted budget, but the bill discount rate is not yet described in the board adopted rates and charges. And it's necessary for clear board authorization of the CEO through this resolution to implement and administer the new customer assistance program. In the resolve statements, we have that the board, you will create a new customer assistance program with features and objectives as described in exhibits A and B. The board will direct and authorize the bill discount rate to be added to the rates and charges just this one time. It won't happen, be necessary in subsequent processes. And finally, the CEO is authorized and directed to take all actions necessary to implement the customer assistance program. So we have two exhibits, the parameters and then the objectives. The parameters, we have qualification. Qualified customers shall be single family residential district customers who qualify for LIHEAP, the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, or other programs that are deemed appropriate by the CEO. TVWD may contract with third-party entities. We expect to do so with Community Action in Washington County to establish customer eligibility for the program. The bill discount is set for qualified customers at 20%, and this will apply to both fixed and volume charges. And the funding shall be limited to funds appropriated in the district's adopted biennial budget. The discount under the program will lapse when appropriated funds are fully expended. And finally, management will monitor unspent appropriated funds and report to the board as deemed necessary. There was a question at the work session, will the board have a heads up? Yes, the answer is yes. So finally, the customer assistance program objectives. We have 4: improving the affordability of water needs for low-income customers, reducing the number and risk of water shutoffs for low-income customers, providing a simple structure for the program, and finally, reducing the burden on low-income customers and district staff by using third-party entities to qualify customer eligibility. So that's the resolution. Staff recommendation is that the board adopt resolution 10-24, which creates a new customer assistance program for the Tualatin Valley Water District. To answer any questions you might have.
All right. In that case, then, thank you, Andrew. Do I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 10-24, a resolution creating a new customer assistance program for the Tualatin Valley Water District?
This is Commissioner Duggan. I move to approve.
Commissioner Fisher, I second.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? No opposed. I hear then the motion passes. Thank you, everybody. And there being no further business on the agenda this evening, I will adjourn. Thank you very much.
Thank you.